Welcome everyone. Today we have another update for the Spiritborn for Season 6, and this time it's even crazier. So what the Chinese community and also the content creator has discovered is that you can take off one unique item and then double your damage because you can craft another legendary aspects. And this means you can roll maximum life, attack speed, additional master crafting, and also one additional legendary aspects which will boost your attack speed, basic attack insanely fast with the Moonrise aspects. So let's have a look at the speed of this testing clear. The Chinese content creator has said he can easily clear under 3 minutes if he has gotten the mythical chest. He hasn't gotten a good mythical chest yet. This is why he's not using mythical chest. But if he uses the mythical chest, he can clear under 3 on around 3 minutes for pit 150. So this is a clear without the mythical chest, and he was clear in about 6 minutes, 5 minutes time. And it's incredible. You don't see the damage, but remember he was critical hitting for thousands and tens and thousands of trillions. And now this build is even stronger. So basically, let me summarize what's happening with the build. He does have the ability to make enemies vulnerable, and vulnerable enemies will explode for more damage, which double dips for the spirit health for the Jaguar. Now he is getting resource generation on the gloves with a lucky hit chance to restore resource. And this means he can remove the Sun Ring, which is a unique item that is here for resource generation. And because of this, notice that he constantly has the resource up, and this allows him to basically double his damage. And just to show you guys exactly what this means, let's come over here. We're going to go through the replay of how to clear pit fast, but this is the new setup. Now he hasn't adjusted for the mythical chest, and in the comments he has mentioned that if he had the mythical chest, this fight will take about 3 minutes, and that's crazy. So what's happening is this is without the mythical chest. So previous setup, he had the Ring of Midnight Sun, which we roll for the 50% chance to restore 50% vigor restoration, right? And this ring is stable in the play. No one takes this ring off. But yesterday he had a spark of genius. And again, big thank you and also credits to this content creator, 每天都想打游戏. And all the other Chinese content creators actually came and said, oh my god, this is great. And this is so smart. All the other famous players in the community came and say, oh, learn from you. You did it really well. This is a really smart idea. So now the next variation. So if you're looking for my build, come to the third variation with a 5-minute pit clear. And in this variation, he is putting the aspects with the Moonrise aspects. And he can craft this legendary ring with maximum life, attack speed, resource reduction, everything you want. You can do dex here too over resource reduction. You can go overpower, you can go vulnerability damage, all works, and also resource generation. The genius factor or the smart factor is to have lucky hit chance to restore resource with on the gloves. And this means you can have maximum life, crow volley, and then you can have the lucky hit chance to restore resource. You don't need attack speed, you don't need much of the resource reduction because you get the attack speed over here, right? And because of this actual lucky hit chance to restore resource. So let me show you guys what this actually does. I'm trying to buy those, but they're not selling. So if you're lucky enough to find a lucky hit chance to restore resource, and it is a great Affix roll, it's a 15% chance to restore over 50%. This is the big part. If you get the great Affix here, 15% chance to restore 68% primary resource. And this is almost or even better than this particular unique ring. So one Affix on the gloves is equal to the entire ring's effect, because you don't really need the critical damage mirage on this ring, and dex is so. So having a greater Affix on the gloves would definitely replace one item slot, and this will double your damage. Now, I'm not sure if it's possible with a non-great Affix, and right now those rings are selling like those gloves are selling like hotcakes. They're already 10 billion with the simple ones, and the great Affix ones are like 45 billion or 60 billion. But yes, if you replace a ring and have this Affix rolled on your gloves, it will double your damage. And you just have to do what we did before. So the icon you're looking for is the 275 icon. Notice this 275 icon on the screen. It has to not flash too much. But you can see, because it's a lucky hit chance, sometimes it does flash. but you have so much attack speed, you're proccing crit volley so many times, it's not the biggest deal if you flash a few times, and this still will give you tremendously high damage. You're getting more attack speed, more multipliers, everything you wanted for the build, and this is pretty amazing, right? So again guys, this is without the mythical chest. The content creator couldn't roll a better chest, and right now he's using a legendary chest. But he said, once he gets a mythical chest, this is crazy. Now, we do have some questions. One of the most important questions is, hey, what about the Mythical Circle? So let me see if I could do the translation. Hopefully the comments translate. I'll have the links available for you guys to see. Oh, it doesn't translate the comment, it translates what's over here. So they're asking, what about the Mythical Circle? Is Mythical Circle better? The content creator actually replied that yes, you can use Mythical Circle. And if you're using Mythical Circle, it has less gear requirement. For his build, it seems to have a better scaling if you have a better gears. So if you get all the max life gears, the build without Mythical Circle seems to be hitting harder. But if you don't have the good gears, and if you don't have the perfect great Affix and crafting, having Mythical Circle over here can work as well, because you have extra aspects. And people also asking, hey, how come you're going for overpower damage? Why don't you go for vulnerability damage? Yes, he said you can go for vulnerability damage on the ring, and also on the gloves as well. You can go vulnerability damage because it double dips. Overpower damage doesn't really double dip over here, but overpower damage have pretty much double the roll range with 200%. So let me show you guys in game. The overpower damage rolls to 200%, while vulnerability damage rolls for about 80%. And they're very similar in damage. And of course, if you play Mythical Circle, you can use this build too. You can simply add this aspect which allows you to explode monsters, and then all of a sudden you have the best of both worlds. Of course, now you can take pick Moonrise, exploding vulnerability enemies, and of course you keep redirecting force. So you can still use this change for your build for the Mythical Circle as well, as long as you get the right gloves with chance to restore primary resource. So now before we finish the video, let's briefly have a look at some of the gameplays, and I want to share with you guys how to play the build. Well, the build is quite straightforward. You are casting most of your spells once they activate. You can cast your Hunt and also Vortex sparingly. If you see the purple monsters, isolate them, kill them first. You kinda don't want to Vortex them too much so that they disappear in the horde of monsters. But with a new setup, notice that he is mowing down everything with seconds. And this means you just have to focus on the elite for about a few seconds. Notice that the elite just popped and disappeared. So with a new change, massive boost to damage, health, survivability, attack speed, everything you wanted. And of course, the Vortex is used to group enemies together, and the moment they group together, they get popped almost instantly. And here you can see my elite. We're going to have a look how long it takes him to take the elite down. And the build is fast. So notice one huge crit, the elite downs to no life. And those crits are over 10,000 or over thousands of trillions. And briefly going through the boss fight. So what you want to see for the boss fight for the setup is, well, this works for all the pits, so let me fast forward a little bit. In terms of the boss fight, you can just pop all your cooldowns. And once you pop all your cooldowns, you spam a bit of Vortex if you can to stagger the boss. You deal the most damage when the boss is staggered and also when the boss is injured. But here, we don't get to see the boss injured, because after 1 to 2 stagger, your damage rotation will trigger a massive critical hit if you have seen the previous video. And this usually comes on the second rotation of the boss stagger. And just look closely, on the second boss rotation, something interesting is going to happen. And in 1, 2, 3 seconds, and it disappears. This is when he quits for tens and thousands of trillions. But of course, in order to have a smooth gameplay, he's not showing the damage numbers. But you can see with our previous setup, I was able to hit 13 trillion, and I believe you can hit even 20, 30, 40 trillion. I will have a video to teach you guys how to hit that high very soon, step by step. And again, big thank you for the Chinese content creator for sharing this one. It is amazing, and you can take down less than 5 minutes or even lower because you can go for the mythical chest. And during this time, those gloves are selling like hotcakes. I cannot find myself a pair of gloves. I'm still looking for those gloves, and it's crazy. Oh gosh, this is 99 trillion. So yes, if you can pick up a glove, try to pick them up. If you can't pick up a glove, you can try to roll your gloves into it, but I was out of a rawhide. I'm trying to roll the resource restoration here. So the Affix you want is something that's never really used, it's this one, chance to restore primary resource. You probably don't even need the great Affix, guys, because after master crafting, you can see this is over 60% already. And that's definitely enough for you to restore resource and then take off this particular ring and become the one-shot machine gun you are. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll keep us updated with the latest changes. And yes, if you find a ring with those stats, guys, that's a really, really good. So make sure you check your stash to see if you have those kind of, not rings, if you have those kind of gloves. Too excited for this.